What's up, my fellow scruffy looking nerf herders, and welcome to the Carbonite Chat. Your mama is so fat that she put on a yellow poncho, walked up to the top of the hill, all the kids from the school would be singing, "Here comes the sun, sun, sun." No, but seriously, I know you want to get into some of the important parts that you came here to watch this video for, which is understanding what makes The Last Jedi absolutely brilliant. And that's some very serious stuff. And, oh God. Oh God. Oh man. Well, let's get back into what we're trying to talk about. The history of Star Wars is well, no, it's not. It's not important. Now, as we were saying, the most important part of Star Wars is, what makes The Last Jedi great? What makes it absolutely brilliant? Art, really. And so let me tell you about that now. So yesterday I was walking my dog, and we were walking, and we just kept walking and going, and it was a long time, and it was yesterday, and I saw a stick, and I was like, "Oh, there's a stick. What am I going to do with that stick?" But then I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm walking a dog, so that doesn't really help me." So I kept walking, and then after walking for a little bit further, nothing really happened. So there's that. So now to the point of why The Last Jedi is absolutely an artistic masterpiece. You really need to know this. Now, I know what you ultimately came here for is you want to hear politics. You want to hear my thoughts and feelings on, child slavery, animal cruelty, those types of things. So I want to make sure that I take some time to tell you that, help you understand these things. Sit down, sit back, learn you something. And that's really what Star Wars is about. That's what this channel is about. It's about politics overall. I mean, it's called Carbonite Chat, but it's about politics. All of it's about politics. Everyone wants to talk about politics. But back to where we were, kind of on with the video, is what makes this movie, The Last Jedi, absolutely magnificent. And you may sit here and say that it's art. And oh yeah, my dog, I was walking the other day. So I was walking him. I told you about that stick. Well, the key part about the stick that you probably didn't know, I don't have a dog. The dog's nothing. No one, it's nothing. I don't own a dog. It's nothing at all. Why would you think that I had a dog? There's no dog. Anyways, and then so I was sitting there, and this was a stick, and so I was using it, and stuff happened. Now, I know after directing such a masterpiece, there's a lot of haters out there that want to say that this wasn't really good. But, clearly the critics have said this was a masterpiece. I mean, almost a perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I shouldn't have to defend this, but because I need to defend this, because, you know, every great director that does a great film such as this needs to explain to the idiots out there that don't really know about art what this might mean, what this might be. And so, much like my hero, the Grand Master, Rian Johnson, who did The Last Jedi so brilliantly, and then spent months on Twitter trying to explain to all those dumb people why the movie was so brilliant, I want to explain why this video is as brilliant and as marvelous as The Last Jedi, and why ultimately this is almost exactly the same as The Last Jedi. So let's get into it. First, as every great fantasy film does, in a galaxy far, far away, you open up with your mom joke. I mean, it's the beginning. You know, people want laughter. I want it. There's some hidden deep themes here, and if I didn't add some humor, then it might be too sad, too depressing. So I had to add that type of humor, and it's good. It fits. It's smart. It's smart humor. That was really smart humor. It goes over most people's heads, but I think the diehards will kind of get that. They'll pick the reference. Then again, I had such a serious moment. I felt like it was a little too serious when I was bringing up the opening. It was very serious, like The Last Jedi, where Paige just dies, and it's very heartbreaking, and it's Ryan went in slow motion and brought the music into a swell, and it seemed so important. And I just want to take a cue from him on that, because I felt like I was a little too serious when I was starting to explain why The Last Jedi was so brilliant. So like him, I didn't have a water suit, and so I just thought I'd add a little sight gag, spill some water all over myself. Put it, just that extra little touch, cutting the tension, adding some extra boom. You don't expect that in a Star Wars movie. You don't expect those types of things to just kind of happen. It's just boom, boom. Just like The Last Jedi, there's constantly things happening. They're coming at you. It's brilliance. Most people don't understand it. You need to watch. You probably need to rewind and watch this video a few times to be able to pick up all the little nuggets that I put in here. Then the peanuts tossing in the air. That's one of those that 40 years from now, people are going to say, this was the most brilliant YouTube video ever done. It's just, it's ahead of its time. I understand that. It's ahead of its time. And so it's probably going to be some split between the fans when they watch this on what, how brilliant it is. But over the decades, they will see the themes that I've laid in throughout this movie. So we'll get back to some of those themes. Now, you might say, but you were constantly trying to tell us why The Last Jedi was brilliant, but then you just kept talking about your dog and walking your dog. You never even tried to explain why The Last Jedi was brilliant. Well, first off, if you think you need to explain why The Last Jedi is brilliant, you just need to watch it again. Because, it's only idiots, or as JJ, thank you JJ, as JJ says, you just hate women if you don't like it, if you don't blindly love it and think it's brilliant. I mean, see, you were expecting me to explain it, but much like a lot of my counterparts that enjoy the movie, we don't explain things. We're a fool. If you try to explain things to a fool, you're a fool. So what I did was, as the great Rian Johnson did, I subverted your expectations. It's brilliance. You expected me to explain to you why this movie was awesome, but I subverted it by talking about my dog that I walked. Now, whether or not you wanted to hear about this, and this is what was kind of expected, because that's what I sold you when you tried to watch it, was, that you're going to find out why this movie is so brilliant. But I subverted it, and that's better. That's brilliant. That's a bold strategy. I mean, bold. Again, 40 years. This video is going to be viewed. It's probably going to be in the Smithsonian. I mean, it's just amazing. Now, some people might say I got lazy in the middle and just kind of added to the runtime by not really doing anything, and just kind of having a blank screen with some words from time to time. And that's they don't understand that I'm building the character of the video here. This is key. This is important. Definitely not just being lazy and not really coming up with an idea for the meat of the story. Definitely not that. It's not that. Now, why might I have random pictures of my shirts popping up on TeePublic? What am I, just trying to sell merchandise? That's absurd. I would never ever try to do that, and I would never just put pointless visuals into something when there's no substance behind it. That's not true. There's visuals are great and they're important, but you never do that without substance, and they have substance. You can't pick up on the little minutia. It's important. The whole thing's substance. There's not just amazing visuals for no reason. Amazing visuals that you can also pick up for yourself at tpublic.com. That is not for merchandising. Come on. It's absurd. I mean, it's just a bunch of haters. They're always going to hate on Disney. They're probably just scared of feminism and what's going on in the world, and they're just they're racist and they hate women, and that's the reason why, because that's what they talk about, because you can't say anything's wrong with this. If you dislike this video, then I think you're hate women and you're a racist. So there goes that. So if you don't, maybe you just need to watch it a few more times to understand the art. But I'll continue. So after that brilliant middle, a lot of people are like, why'd you have to add in your politics? Why? Well, some things are just that important. And I believe in show and not tell, I'm trying to show you things, not tell them to you. I'm trying to, help you understand how right I am and wrong you are, and I think the best place to do that is in a fantasy film that's for all ages. And let's start pumping that in, because I get to decide, if you've got a kid and they're watching this and they're, I get to decide whether or not they listen to you or me, and I'm going to tell them to listen to me because I'm going to make their characters say it, and they're going to like the characters, and that's why, it's a little nice little touch that I just kind of like to weave in there sometimes, shove my beliefs down other people's throats. That's the way you do it. Now, again, we got this tossing up of the peanuts there. Now, I'll begin to touch on some of the themes that I got in here, because most people, they can't understand the themes of what's going on. And the theme there is failure. See, I kept tossing up the peanuts, and I'm known for being a great, catcher of those. I see a joke in there, so I'm trying to hide myself out of that. Dang it. But seriously though, is I failed, and sometimes your heroes fail you. I know a lot of people on my channel have been watching and saying, a lot of my videos are about The Last Jedi being bad, but now that I've seen it a bunch of times, I understand, and I wanted to make this video to explain to you why it's great. And a lot of people have said, your content is good, and I appreciate it, and I look forward to it, and I love how you explain to me some of the reasons why I dislike the movie, and I understand I've been failing, now I, like Luke, am just a failure. I know my whole channel has been about how bad The Last Jedi is and how terrible it is, but now it's great, and you don't need to understand why I've changed my opinions. I have, and it's not because character, or if you need explanation, then you're just an idiot. You're a fanboy, and you need to get over yourself, because that's pathetic. So yeah, a lot of people didn't catch that. But Peanuts, failure. This is the second movie in a, and we need to touch on something important. That's key. And so that was very, that's one of those things people are going to look back in 40 years and go, wow, that video, brilliant. It was bold, and another bold, multiple subversions in this. You thought the whole time you were going to see why The Last Jedi was brilliant, much like you thought we were going to see The Last Jedi, and then The Last Jedi wasn't even The Last Jedi. And so much like that, I never gave you an answer, and that was a subversion, and it's brilliance. If you go and order a steak and someone brings you a steak, well, you don't want a steak. Why would you go to eat a steak at a steakhouse, order a steak, and want to get a steak? No, that's insanity. You want the tofu or the fish, or a salad plate. Speaking of, I need to talk about that. I think that's very important. Now, did I just subvert your expectations again? I did. It's brilliance. It's utter brilliance. And finally, you thought that the dog mattered because I was talking about a dog. And really, you need to understand more about it because context. But context doesn't matter. And nothing matters. And so because nothing matters, the dog doesn't even exist. It's a brilliant plot twist. I mean, it really is better than Empire, as my great friend Patrick Willem would say. It's actually better than Empire. Empire, it ruined it, really. I can't say that. I can't even go that far. Sorry. 2 times I've had to jump out of character. That one was one of them. And finally, the most important thing is kind of these little nuggets that you'll pick up. But at first, I was holding a green lightsaber over here. But then you probably didn't even catch it because, you're worked up about the movie. You're just into it. And so the next time I was holding a red lightsaber over here. It's just those little, it's the attention to details, the finer points that just really make this a brilliant, brilliant spectacle. So now that I've explained to all you idiots why this is great, go ahead and like it. Buy all of my merchandise and support me because I'm a fan of The Last Jedi. It's great. Just like my good friend Ryan Johnson is a huge Star Wars fan. I too am a Last Jedi fan, and I support it always. It's great. And I don't know a quote about Star Wars to close this out on, but because I tossed out the everything you need to know about Star Wars point, which was, of course, being bold, because most people, when doing a Star Wars movie, would actually do something that kind of connects with the lore and, with the characters that we know and love. But that, if I would have told you and explained to it like that, like I did before, all the fools in the past, you don't want that. You don't want that. You wanted something bold and new, and that's what I gave you. And that's why this is brilliant. And I'm thinking about doing a trilogy. I'm probably going to do a trilogy of these because I'm so awesome. Done.